Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing another kind of foundation review today, and today we are looking at a new to me drugstore foundation. This is the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. This does say color correcting, full coverage, natural finish plus collagen, peptides, and niacinamide with a broad spectrum SPF 30. So the SPF in this does come from octinoxate, titanium dioxide, and zinc oxide, so it is a combination chemical, physical, or mineral foundation. This foundation has been such a pleasant surprise throughout the week. Before I give you all the tea and details on my feelings on this, let's jump into the foundation application and then we will kind of go over my overall thoughts and feelings. So let's get right into the video. So this week I've been trying out something a little different. So I'm starting off with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I like to make sure I scrape most of it off, and then I dot this on before I go in with the foundation. I don't know why I decided to do that. It's just something I decided to do. And then I take the beauty blender for cheeks and I've just been blending it out. For some reason, since the color of the e.l.f. CC cream is off, I've just found this has been really helpful for getting a base on and kind of brightening things up. And then if I need to, I can go back and add more. But I like just to let this sit on for just a moment before I apply the e.l.f. CC cream. Since I've started off this new practice of putting all of my products for the week in this like little bag, and isn't this bag cute? One of my friends knows how much I loved Sailor Moon as a kid. So for Christmas, he gifted me this like fun like little travel makeup bag, which has been great for keeping everything organized. And I've kind of decided, since I've got so many products that I need to like really test out and make sure I'm using instead of keep continuously buying new products, it's like, why not at the start of the week I'll put all of the products I want to focus on for the week in the bag, and that way I can make sure I'm reviewing and getting out more products to all of you. So while I let this concealer kind of set on and warm up for a bit, because normally I'll let it sit on while I'm brushing my teeth, and then my toothbrush has a 3-minute cycle, so that means I'm brushing my teeth and letting this sit on for about 3 minutes. So I'm going to run through the bases I've used under this CC cream this week. So funny enough, I used a mix of sunscreen and primers. So the first day of wearing the e.l.f. Camo CC cream, I was getting ready later in the day because I had a birthday party to go to that night. So it was about 5:30 when I left my house, which meant we only had about 30 minutes left of daylight, so I did not use a sunscreen. Instead, I primed my skin with this NYX Plump Right Back with AVEC Electrolyte Mix. I used this as my base, and this was really, really nice. I really enjoyed this. It wasn't the most hydrating, but it did give the skin a nice kind of bouncy kind of like zhuzh to the skin. And this week I've also started testing out some sunscreens for a series of videos going up in May, but the first sunscreen I would say is the Etude Mild Airy Finish SPF. This is an all mineral sunscreen, and it does leave a little bit more of it has a slightly drier finish. It gives the skin a very beautiful smooth effect, but since this was dry and the e.l.f. Camo CC cream isn't the most hydrating, I used the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. Now I hadn't tried this primer before, so I wanted to see what it was like, because for some reason the name made me feel like it would be very, very hydrating. It was decently hydrating, but it has a very tacky finish which likes to really grip onto products. So while this did not dry in my face out, it did not give me enough moisture to use again in combination with this SPF. With a different SPF, I think it could have done really beautifully, but that day it wore fine. I just felt a little dry around the mouth area, the same as the first day. The following day, I tried out my Curel UV sunscreen. So this is another all mineral sunscreen. It's not as drying on the skin as the Etude House, but this does leave a stronger white cast. So since this isn't drying, I did not use a separate primer. So I just layered these two together, and the kind of cast that this leaves on the skin paired with this made this look like a better shade match for me. But around the end of the day, I still felt a little dry around the mouth. So the next day I ended up using the Skin Aqua, which this gave a really, really nice finish to the skin, and in combination with this, it was really nice. It gave me a very kind of natural finish, and I did not experience any type of kind of tightness or dryness around my mouth area, which was really nice. So these two, I really love the combination. I wanted more moisture, more glow. So yesterday I used the same mix I'm using today, which is the Anessa sunscreen, which is a combination sunscreen, gives a really beautiful luminous glow to the skin. And then I used the Maybelline Master Prime Hydrating Primer. This is like a moisturizer and a primer. If you are someone who is really oily and you just want something lightly hydrating, this is really nice. If you're someone with drier skin and it's time of the year where your skin feels a little tight, a little dry, and like your skincare routine is just not enough, you just need a little extra touch of moisture, I really love this. So I paired these two together under this, which is what I'm doing again today because my favorite combination this far. So the only way I applied the e.l.f. CC Cream the first few days was with my Real Technique sponge. I just put a half a pump on the top and then worked it around my face. And then I decided to try something else out. So then I take a half a pump, just a little dot on this Morphe 2. This is the Complexion brush. And with that little bit, I just kind of dot it around my face and then I'll start spreading it out. And then I'm gonna take another half a pump and just focus on adding coverage where I want it. Also, just a side note, I'm not taking my foundation up here right now because I just did my second round of PRP treatments the other day. And when she did my PRP injections, instead of stopping right here, since she noticed some new growth right in the recession area, which was something that she didn't want to overpromise that would help with because it's not normally supposed to help with that area because with the way, I guess, and that's something to do with how male pattern baldness goes, but something happened. I'm very happy, but there is new growth in here. So when we did the PRP injections, we took it all the way down in here. So right through here on both sides, it feels a little rough. So I am not taking my foundation up there. And then I just like to take my blending sponge and press and smooth everything out. And here we are up close. So this is like a nice light, bordering light medium coverage all over. I really love this. And oddly enough, I find applying with the brush then smoothing over with the sponge gives me less coverage than using just the sponge. Just the sponge gives me more of a solid medium coverage, which I can build up to a full coverage, but using the brush, taking that tiny amount and really spreading it out allows me to really shear out the coverage, which I prefer. I am gonna build up coverage on select parts of my face. I'm gonna show you how the sponge works. So once again, I'm gonna take a tiny amount and then stamp just in those places where I want coverage and then blend out. So you can already see just using the sponge on its own is packing on a lot more coverage. Which, the nice thing I like about that is a little bit of this product spreads very, very far, and it's e.l.f. It's very affordable. One downside is I really wish we could get it here in Canada, but as of now, we cannot, which is a shame because this is beautiful, and I want a different shade because this is just a little too dark for me. Alright, so here is how the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream looks when it's built up. I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Alright, back, the rest of the makeup is on. So now, let's get into the nitty gritty of the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. Who is this product for? Honestly, I feel like most people would really enjoy this. If you're someone who enjoys the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, but you would like something a little bit more affordable, I think this is an awesome alternative. The biggest difference I can notice between something like this and the original IT Cosmetics CC Plus Cream is this has more of a lightweight finish and this is more of a natural finish, where the original IT CC Cream is a little bit more of a satin to lightly luminous finish. For me, I find this feels a lot more lightweight on the skin than the IT Cosmetics CC Cream does. Much like the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, this is a product that I wouldn't call a no makeup product. It's gonna, even when you shear it down to about a light coverage, it still look like makeup on the skin. skin, it's extremely smoothing to the texture and pores, but it's gonna look like you have makeup on. Like, that is something for me which would kind of keep this from being like an everyday foundation for me. It's beautiful, but it's a little too makeup-y for my everyday taste. It just reads like makeup on the skin. It doesn't look heavy or apparent. It's just a little too perfected for at least my everyday taste in makeup. This doesn't necessarily hydrate the skin, but it doesn't kind of take moisture or hydration away from the skin. It's just kind of a, it is what it is foundation as far as how it does on the skin. That's gonna really depend on what you prep and prime your skin with. So what your skincare is, what type of primer you use. From what I found, this foundation on its own wants to leave to a very natural to natural matte finish. However, what I did find when I paired some different sunscreens and combinations of sunscreens and primers under this foundation, I could make it feel a little bit more hydrating. I could make it a little bit more luminous. And if I wanted to, I could just skip powdering and layer a few cream products on, and then all I would need to do is just take my touch-up powder, which this week I used the CoverGirl Clean Fresh, which is a brilliant, absolutely brilliant pressed powder. I have the shade Translucent. I would take my e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush and then just boop boop, take down any shine where I don't want it, and we're good to go for another 4 or 5 hours. One thing I really love about this is it's such a low maintenance foundation. When I went to the party, I ended up wearing this for about 12 hours that day, and it looked just as good, if not better, at 12 hours than it did when I first applied it. I'm someone who there's some foundations I really like how they look when I first apply them, but a lot of times I like foundations after they've been on the skin and they've melded with the natural oils or sebum of the skin. I just like how things look when it's a little bit more lived in than it does when freshly applied. And not every product looks better. There are some products who just completely wear away as they're being worn. This is just something that it really kind of sets up and stays with you, much like the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. Biggest difference between this and that, I find the IT Cosmetics CC Cream gets a lot shinier throughout the day than the e.l.f. does. For me, if I could get my hands on this in the shade 125C, because I have shade 150C, this might be like a home run for days when I do want to wear more of a like full-on makeup look versus like my no makeup days when I want to use something like my MAC Studio Fix powder or the One to Chanel foundation. And it's so funny because the last foundation I did was the Lisa Eldridge The Foundation review, and this I've been testing out for just over a week now. That one I tested out for about 4 months, I think it is. And I do have a lot more experience with that, but that versus this is way easier to work with. It's a lot more affordable. This is a very pleasant foundation that gives a great all-day wear experience for me and my taste. If you're someone who likes a very sheer foundation, I don't think this would be the best match for you because it doesn't really sheer out too well. You could spread it out, but I don't find it really goes below a light coverage. If you're someone with extremely dry skin and your foundation can negate whatever type of prep work you do with your skincare, this might not be the best for you because it's not the most hydrating or nourishing foundation. If you need that extra boost of moisture from your foundation product, this might not be the best one for you. If you're on the kind of normal to dry or normal to oily, I think this might be a great product for you to try out. I mean, at the price point of being around the $15 mark, if I'm not mistaken, this is a really, really great one. Now, this does have an SPF 30. In comparison to like we were talking about with the IT Cosmetics CC Cream, that is an all mineral SPF 50 plus. This has an SPF 30. It includes octinoxate, titanium dioxide, and zinc oxide, which just makes this a combination of chemical mineral or a combination of chemical physical SPF blockers. So if you're someone who is very sensitive to octinoxate, which is a chemical filter, then this might have to be a skip for you. But for me, as someone who generally doesn't tolerate chemical SPFs all that well, I've had no issue using this. That being said, I don't take it around my eyes because I just generally don't take foundation around my eyes. Where I've been testing out the Hydrating Camo Concealer, I've been using this around my eyes, not the foundation. And since I did test out the Hydrating Camo Concealer, I do want to give a short little review on this. This was really nice. Is it standout? No. No. Is it bad? No. If this was the only concealer I had, I would be happy with it. I can wear it sheer like I have on now. I could build it up if I want to. When I build it up, I do get a little bit of texture emphasis right on the inner corner of my eye, but it's not bad. This is a very, very workable concealer for me. I would like to find a slightly lighter and brighter shade. I have the shade Light Peach, which isn't bad. I can make it work like I have today, but it's just not my ideal match. But for a drugstore concealer at a great price point, if you're looking for an affordable concealer, I would say give this a try. So getting back to our e.l.f. Camo CC Cream, I feel like this is a really nice foundation slash CC cream. I have been just completely thrilled with how this has performed, especially after reviewing a foundation last week, which I was so excited when I first bought, but it turned out to be a little bit more fussy than I like for my day-to-day. This has been just such a welcome addition to my foundation kind of arsenal. It is something that next time I'm in the US and I'm at Ulta, I will pick up in a lighter shade. That's gonna work a little bit easier for me, but this is workable for me right now and I am beyond happy with this. Just on performance and where this is a solid like A foundation. Not quite an A plus because it's not as natural looking on the skin, but it's a very solid, good all-around foundation. So very, very happy with this. If you have tried out the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream and if you had a different review, maybe your review or maybe your experience with it wasn't as good as mine was, I would like to know that down below in the comment section as well. If you found today's video helpful and enjoyable, make sure you give it a thumbs up and also make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more foundation reviews and just kind of easy everyday beauty content, and share it with a friend that you think might enjoy it. I will see you all in the next video. Bye y'all.